I'm going to go ahead and apologize to Perk because I know that he doesn't like advanced stats, but often advanced stats inform us. They provide insight. They often reinforce what we see. So they kind of complement the eye test. I know you're an eye test guy and you don't like advanced stats, but I might use a few here. I just want to react because I didn't hear this, the idea that his teammates shoot good or bad shots. So Second Spectrum, wonderful company, they installed tracking cameras in every arena 10 years ago. And their technology has evolved. And one thing we've learned from that is we can actually track which players create good shots for their teammates. And Nikola Jokic is top 5 in shot quality created. So if you watch them play, Perk, and I know you do, sometimes you might not stay up late on the Mountain Time Zone, but if you watch them play, when he's deciding whether to shoot or score, he's often making a read, because that's what good basketball players do. They make reads. So if he's getting a double, he's going to kick. If he sees the help coming too early, he's going to swing it to the corner. It's a good pass. What's the most efficient corner three in basketball? It's a corner three. Look, Perk, I want to touch on something that they didn't bring up. This idea that Dirk and Steve Nash were favored to win the MVP because they're white. First of all, you stop short at 1990. That was your cutoff point for players to win MVP, not in the top 10 in points per game, which is a stupid stat to judge MVP on. This isn't middle school. 1990, Magic won it. In 89, Magic won it. 87, Magic won it. 87, he was 10th. 89, he was 15th. 90, he was 18th. Okay. We judge MVP year to year. You also said the criteria or the goalposts change year to year for certain players. No, it doesn't. We vote on the MVP. Hold on. We vote on the MVP based on that season. We vote on the MVP based on that season. It is a regular season award. Previous playoff runs have nothing to do with it. It's a regular season award for the most valuable player. And we can measure that, Perk. So maybe voters have gotten smarter. I want to talk about Dirk and Nash real quick, and I'll let you jump in. Dirk Nowitzki led the league in win shares in both 06 and 07. Led the league in offensive win shares in both 06 and 07. So, yeah, he wasn't top 5 or whatever he was, top 10 in scoring his MVP season. The Dallas Mavericks were 67 and 15. They had the best record in the NBA. In 05, Steve Nash was the driver of the number 1 offense in the league, a team that jumped 20 wins and had the best record in the NBA. In 06 to me is one of the weirdest MVP seasons ever. You can make an argument Nash probably shouldn't have won it, but he was still the driver of the number 1 offense in the league. The 2 best teams that year, the Detroit Pistons, 64 wins, the San Antonio Spurs, 63 wins. Guess what? They didn't have their top scorers weren't in the top 20 in the NBA that year. So that was just a strange thing. You could have given it to Kobe. You could have given it to Shaq.
The only thing, nothing against Kobe. Rest his soul. But I know a lot of people say Kobe should have won that year. But Steve Nash, if he was the leader of the team, Lakers won 42 games. The Phoenix Suns won 61 games. Just from that alone, it's like, how can you win MVP when your team didn't have the best record? I mean, it doesn't matter. You can average 50 points a game, but at the end of the day, it's a multi-layered award. You can't just score the most points. It's not a scoring contest. It's basically who played the most games, who won the most games, who impacted the games the most. It's like Employee of the Month. Are you going to give an Employee of the Month award to somebody who doesn't show up to work every day? Can you give the Employee of the Month award to somebody that calls in sick, load management, or what have you? And I'm not talking about Kobe now. I'm talking about just in general. Like right now, especially right now, there's a lot of load management stuff going on. And that's their choice. But at the end of the day, you can't complain about not winning MVP if you're not playing the most games. Plus, there's also winning MVP is also luck. You got to stay healthy too. If you injured, you could be the best player in the world. You can average 50 points a game. But if you injured half the season, you can't win MVP.
You could have given it to Tim Duncan. They gave it to Steve Nash. It's not because he was white.
It was just a strange thing. It was just a strange.
Well, why did you cut it off at 1990? Because that was convenient. That was convenient.
I'm just saying. Hold on, time out. It was just a strange thing that it just happened. It was just a strange thing in 2006 when Kobe averaged 31, when he was playing with Kwame Brown and Smush Parker.
And what
it
was the record that year? 42 and 40. They were
42. Yeah.
42 and 40.
So
let us speak. He's the most valuable player.
They made the playoffs.
That's not enough, man. You can't just make the playoffs. You can't be. It doesn't matter if the top three. Typically, the top three teams. Okay, that's usually who they're looking at. I mean, it's not really. You can't really use it, man. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't make sense, dude. Because let's look at all the players who have won. Look at this. How many white people do you see since 1982? Larry Bird, Dirk, and Steve Nash, and Nikola Jokic. I mean, looks to me like black people winning. So I don't know what the issue is. So you can't throw up the race card, man. And yes, you have an argument for Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid and Giannis. But let's look at Joel Embiid. Joel averaging 33. He only played 51 games. Nikola Jokic, 24 points a game, but he played 57 games. Giannis played 52 games, and he's averaging 31. At the end of the day, it's not a scoring contest, man. Like, when you look at, I would love to see Embiid win his first MVP. I would love to see Giannis win another MVP. I would love to see it. But at the end of the day, numbers are numbers. It's not racist. Numbers aren't racist. Numbers are important so we can put things in perspective. Everything's not racist, man. If anything, you can say it's racist against white people. Because white people ain't winning MVP like that. Look at this, man. I mean, Larry Bird, he did his thing. 3 years in a row. Look at all these black people winning it. I don't see a discrepancy, man. You should be happy. I mean, goodness gracious. All of the 90s, not one white person won MVP in all of the 90s. I don't remember hearing white people complain. You know, come on, man. It's let it go, man.
With that roster, you take Kobe off that team, they probably win 8 games. Okay, so let's make that very, very clear. Now, since you want to talk about when I was saying and preaching about moving the goalposts, the reason I asked that question was for the simple fact that what I'm saying is I don't know the criteria no more. I don't know if it's because it's the number 1 seed. I don't know if it's the number 6 seed. I don't know how you judging it. Is if we judging off of advanced stats or who's the most valuable player? You take them off this team. We don't know. We don't know, but we do.
We do know. It's who's winning the most. It doesn't matter if you average 50 points a game. Anybody can go out there and just chuck up a bunch of threes all day and average a bunch of points. But are you playing cohesive basketball that leads to wins? They don't give awards to guys who are missing games, whether you're injured or let's say you get into some legal issues or, you know, you get suspended, you had a fight or something like that. It doesn't matter if you average 50 points a game. You can't win MVP. I don't see the issue, man. I don't see how it can possibly be racist.
You know this. Since you do want to bring it up, we do know this, that when it comes to MVP vote, 80% of the voters are white American. 20% are others.
Bro, that's a horrible argument. I'm sorry. If that's the case, if it's 80%, you would think that they favor black people. Because look how many black people win MVP. Let's stop using that excuse, man. It's not acceptable right now. Like the data, the information, the numbers, they don't lie. The numbers don't show racism or favoritism. If anything, it does. It shows that they prefer black people to win. So let it go, man.
I know that stat. If you want to talk about advanced stat, I do know that one.
I want to just say something. Stephen A., I mean no offense to you, and I mean no offense to First Take, because I think this show is extremely valuable. It is an honor to be on this desk every day. It really is.
Basically what he's saying is, I hate to be the one to shut down your race baiting argument, but the numbers don't lie.
But what we've just witnessed is the problem with this show, where we create narratives that do not exist in reality.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's no way around this. This is white privilege. This does not happen for a black man.
The implication, what you are implying, that the white voters that vote on NBA are racist, that they favor white people. You just said that. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
You brought up race. And the numbers don't work in your favor, man. Like, come on.
You did. That is exactly what you implied, Kendrick Perkins. That is exactly what you implied. Secondly, hold on.
I did not call. I stated the facts. And
Oh, stop. Please stop screaming, dude. It's not a good look. It's not helping. You can't win an argument just by yelling. I'm going to yell at you, and I'm going to be right.
you're not about to sit up.
We all know what you implied the other day. We all know what you implied just now.
I stated
One at a time.
it's the
One at a
facts.
time.
It's the
One at a
facts.
time.
It's the facts.
Okay.
Secondly, no one said that players don't stat pad. No one said that players aren't aware of their stats within a game. You're talking about Giannis doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That has nothing to do with Nikola Jokic. My point that I made the other day, which is a valid point and which I will stand by, is that Nikola Jokic does not care. What he cares about doesn't fit your narrative. So your narrative to discredit him somehow, to discredit what he's doing, it's not based in reality, Perk. And no one is disrespecting Giannis. No one is disrespecting Joel Embiid. Look, earlier in the season, you could have made an argument for Luka for MVP. You could have made an argument for Tatum. Right now, 65 games, with 17 to go, there's 3 guys you can make an argument for. And they all have valid arguments. Embiid, Giannis, and Jokic, they all have valid arguments. Nobody's discrediting them. What is the evidence? I want to know.
JJ,
Because this is what you do. You're implying something. You're saying something. Jokic stat pad. No, he doesn't.
No.
White voters favor white Europeans. No, they don't.
No.
That's what you're saying.
No.
I'm sorry. He is kind of implying that. Not kind of. I mean, you bring it up, 80% are white voters. You can't say that, man, and then say you're not implying that it has to do with race.
No. What I made a fact of, I didn't time out. What I made a statement on was that I said it happens around the league. Along with Jokic, people knows what goes on. And for you to sit up here and for you to come on here and you to say that's not who Jokic is. Like, how in the hell do you know how another man is feeling inside? That's what I want to ask you. How the hell you know? A pair of lips could say anything. So listen,
I talk to his teammates who are around him every day. Because I talk to Mike Malone, who's been around him for 8 years.
How would they?
You can learn a lot by listening. You can learn a lot by listening to people. How they talk about
nobody knows how somebody feels.
My God, dude. Oh, my God. You want to lose an argument? Scream like that. That's how you know you're losing the argument.
No one said that players don't stat pad. No one said that players aren't aware of their stats within a game. You're talking about Giannis doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That has nothing to do with Nikola Jokic. My point that I made the other day, which is a valid point and which I will stand by, is that Nikola Jokic does not care. What he cares about doesn't fit your narrative. So your narrative to discredit him somehow, to discredit what he's doing, it's not based in reality, Perk. And no one is disrespecting Giannis. No one is disrespecting Joel Embiid. Look, earlier in the season, you could have made an argument for Luka for MVP. You could have made an argument for Tatum. Right now, 65 games.
Most max contracts are given to black players. If you want to throw race into it, you could be like, they're not giving white players max contracts. It's not based on your skin color. It's based on your performance. Look at Luka. Look at Jokic. How many other white players have a contract like that? $40, $50 million a year. Not too many players have that. But there's plenty of black players with over $200 million contracts. We just have to stop worrying about skin color with everything. Everything doesn't revolve around skin color. Focus on the numbers.